Hi, my name's Martin Dovick. I'm the owner-operator of Strong Kiteboarding. It's one of the schools down at the gorgeous lake that you guys are lucky enough to be able to call home. I have been working at the school for 12 years there, and it's been around since 2005. Pretty cool spot. I'm really happy to be able to be at Nitinat, and I appreciate you guys allowing all of us to come to Nitinat. Myself, I'm here to tell you a little bit about my career and career options that you might possibly be able to have or things you might be interested in. So I went to school in a little town called Powell River. After that, I went down to Victoria and I ended up taking mechanical engineering. And the reason I did that was I had a really good interest in building things, in designing things, construction, those sorts of things. And I applied to the program and they somehow accepted me, so I got very lucky with that. I did that at Camosun College. It was a 2 year diploma, mechanical engineering diploma, so that was really cool. But by the time I finished that, I didn't want to sit around on a computer and work in an office all day, so I actually ended up doing a welding certification after that. So I did my journeyman welding certification over the next couple of years and did some welding work in and around Victoria, which was pretty handy, and I got some really nice work experiences. I ended up then moving on to another engineering job that I got through welding jobs, so that really helped with everything because I had started working as a welder at this spot and we were doing stainless steel welding. We were making breweries and wastewater vessels and pharmaceutical vessels, so that was really neat. But being in the right place at the right time and the previous training that I had had, even though I didn't follow my career that way, led to a really cool job that I got to do, and I was quality control supervisor there for several years. That was really neat. I quite enjoyed that project, and then ended up getting laid off in 2008 when the economy crashed. So after the economy crashed, there was a lot of changes going on all over the world, and there wasn't a lot of engineering jobs that were still available. And I paid off my student loans. I was a young man, and I was looking to just have a lot of fun and have some opportunities. So I did a little bit of traveling at that time, and when I came back, there still wasn't a ton of work in my field available. And just out of the blue, a friend of mine, he was a kiteboarder, and he wanted to do his kiteboarding instructor's course. And he talked me with it a little bit, and I decided to do that. And that was really life changing for me because that's what I do as my career now. And I'm very glad that that really ended up happening because it was just sort of something I did for fun at the time, but you never really know where things are going to lead you. So don't look away from opportunities like those sorts of things, because I went to school for engineering and welding, and now I get to hang out in Mexico and run a kiteboarding school and get to hang out at the beautiful Nitinat Lake and see everything there. So don't really look away from any opportunities like that. You've always got something. After I did the course, I didn't have a job or anything, but I just started calling a couple of kite schools, and one of them happened to be Strong Kiteboarding. That one was run by Dwayne Strong, and that was up at Nitinat Lake, and he just happened to be looking for an instructor, and he didn't know me, but he gave me a try. He also ran a commercial fishing boat, so just this one phone call got me a job on a commercial fishing boat doing crabbing, and also working up at Nitinat Lake as a kiteboarding instructor. So don't ever be afraid to just get out there and make a phone call, put your foot in the door, because you never know what things can possibly lead to right there. I really liked that kind of job. It drew me in quite well because I got to work outside. It was very different than the typical 9 to 5 job that I had worked. If you go to school, you just sort of get used to these things. Your parents oftentimes are working these kinds of jobs too. So this was a very different way to live and a different lifestyle for me. Got to live up in the forest with all the wildlife, with the fresh air, with the berries up there, and just having the gorgeous water, and also getting to play and have a lot of fun too. It wasn't work all the time. It really opened up a lot of opportunities because we weren't always on the clock. Our business was based on the weather, so a lot of times you just get a day off out of the blue, and you get to have a lot of fun. And especially when you're hanging out up at Nitinat Lake, there's a lot of things that you can do all over the place, as you guys know, to kill all of that time that you've got. Also, the other job that I got, the commercial fishing, it's an early morning job, it's hard work, but it's very gratifying. At the end of the day, you get to see how much you've caught, you get to spend a lot of time out in the water, get to see a lot of wildlife, and you guys have a great spot. That lake is just loaded with fish, as I'm sure you know. You have crabs out at the end, you can go to the outside, be getting halibut out there, be getting lingcod, The list goes on. There's all sorts of shellfish. You're in a very rich marine area with a lot of marine life, so you have tons of opportunities with the commercial fishing. That was something I really never expected to do, but I'm really glad that I did it. And even last year I started doing some more fishing again, and I probably will this year when I return back to Canada. So commercial fishing is a very good opportunity to look at. You guys have a lot of opportunities in your area. I'm sure it would just be a matter of speaking to the right person in town, and you could probably at least find an entry-level position and just start working your way up if that's something that you'd like to do. Beyond even the reserve, there's tons of work outside otherwise, so a little bit of experience that you get with that, maybe get onto a bigger boat, maybe an overnight boat, something like that if that's what you want to do. And you guys have probably all seen that Deadliest Catch. You can even work your way up to a job like that if you'd really like to go. So I'd really recommend commercial fishing as a great job opportunity. It's really nice to work seasonally too. With the kiteboarding and the fishing, a lot of times they don't happen at the same time, so you can work really hard for a short time, a few months or something, and then maybe take a few weeks, a month or two off of work if the work went well. That was a really nice kind of life that I really liked, because I'd never had long extended periods of time where I could do what I really wanted to do and start exploring my own hobbies and different job opportunities and just different life opportunities.
Rolling.
Yeah, I just want to talk about welding a little bit. Welding is a really good career option, and I highly recommend it to anybody. It doesn't take a ton of training. You can do it straight out of high school. There's even a lot of programs where you can do it as part of your high school and then you graduate a little bit later. And welding is not going anywhere. There's always going to need to be buildings to be welded, cars to be fixed, metal needs to be stuck together with metal, and generally the best way to do that is welding. So you can work up in northern Alberta working on the pipelines, you could work building ferries, you could work doing construction projects. There's just going to be no lack of welding whatsoever, and you can just go in and do entry level training, which is only 7 months, and get a job right out of school like that. Or you continue on multiple years doing higher level training, getting your red seal, getting pressure welding certificates, then even starting your own sort of welding shop and making your own welding business. And there's always going to be welding that's needed around the reserve too, so you can be an asset to your community even if you learn very basic welding right there. So I'd highly recommend welding as a very good career option. I've done plenty of it. I've moved on to different things in my life, but I know I likely at some point will go back to do some welding, and it's a great skill to have because I know how to fix things that's a lot of times you'd have to go and pay for somebody to fix.
Start again.
So it's paradise down here, but things don't always work out as you planned. And on January 17th in 2013, I had a crash while I was out kiteboarding for fun, and I broke my femur pretty severely. That I needed major surgery on that, and that put me out. I couldn't walk for about 4 or 5 months. I really didn't make a full recovery for 18 months. But that really shifted things for me because I had just been doing the kiteboarding as something that was fun, that I could travel around with, that enjoyed myself. And you know what? I was young and there was nothing wrong with that, and I had a blast and I don't regret any of it. But the big change that happened for me then, I took it more seriously because I couldn't do the physical work that I used to do with fishing and with other jobs out there with the welding and the log homes. So I started managing the kite schools. I started managing the school up at Nitinat Lake. The manager left, and then I started hiring employees up there and started running the show a little bit up there. Also the same thing down here in Mexico. The school I'd been working at, I'd been working for them, but I took over the school down here. I hired people down here, got their work visas, got people imported, and started doing a little bit more of the upper level stuff. And that all, it was from breaking my leg, but just being around these places, hanging out, talking to people, it just slowly starts to work its way up, and you can start to build a career path out of that. Really neat for me now down here. Just this year I bought the business. Actually it's 2022 now, so in 2021 I bought the business up at Nitinat Lake. So the business that I worked for more than 10 years, I'm now the owner of it. And my wife and I got our residencies down here in Mexico, and I'm a permanent resident now, and we bought the school down here also. So what we used to do for fun and we love, now we're the owners and the managers of this, and it's really neat because we can still do fun things that we really like to do. We have a lot of opportunity, but now we're not just sort of scraping by. We're actually making a decent living doing this, and it's all just hard work, talking to the right people, being in the right places, and a heck of a lot of luck. I'm not gonna lie, I was in the right place at the right time quite often. But luckily for you guys, the right place for you is Nitinat Lake, and everybody comes to you up there. You have a ton of opportunity up there. If anybody was ever interested in working at the kite school or learning to kiteboard, we'd be really happy to help you out with that.